Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders, a podcast where people connected to autism inspire change and build community. Together with the Global Autism Project, I'm your host, Rachel Harmon, a professional with over a decade of experience in the field of autism services, outreach, and advocacy. Do you ever wonder about the level of autism awareness around the world? Are you curious about what services are available for families in countries like Indonesia? If so, you'll want to listen to this episode with Maharani Putri Kusuma, or Rani for short, where she shares all about the work she does to spread autism awareness in her country. Rani is the co-founder and owner of Rumah Tiara, an autism center in Jakarta, Indonesia. A former Global Autism Project Partner, Rani had been receiving training from us since 2013. Over the years, we have sent 13 SkillCorps volunteer teams to Rumah Tiara to provide sustainable hands-on training. SkillCorps is a carefully curated 10-day journey that includes developing culturally relevant and sustainable training with our partner staff, listening to local autistic self-advocates and family members to learn about their lived experiences, sharing meals with community members to brainstorm ideas and solutions, and executing a high-impact project to build on existing work being done in the country. This episode with Rani was first released in July of 2020. We are re-releasing it today because we're excited to announce that we've just sent a team of SkillCorps volunteers to Peru. You can follow the team's live updates on our Instagram at Global Autism Project. For this interview, Rani was joined by Via Maharani, a former therapist at Rumah Tiara who interpreted from Bahasa to English for us. I want to give a special thank you to Via for all of the effort she put into making sure Rani's important message was understood. In today's episode, we discuss the level of autism awareness in Indonesia and the stigma associated with the diagnosis, types of services available for Indonesian families, how Rani began working with children with autism and why she loves her job, some of the challenges she's had to face as a business owner, how knowing that they're helping children who might otherwise not have access to therapy helps Rani's staff stay positive, some of Rani's favorite moments from hosting our SkillCorps volunteers, and aspects of Indonesian culture she's most excited to share with them when they visit. In this episode, discover what's possible when awareness spreads one step at a time. And now I present you Maharani Putri Kusuma. Hello, Rani and Via. Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Rani, could you please introduce yourself?
Saya adalah pemilik dari Rumah Tiara.
Hello everyone, I am Maharani Putri Kusuma. I'm the owner of Rumah Tiara, partner of Global Autism Project.
Thank you. And Via, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I am Via. I used to work in Rumah Tiara and now I am in Abu Dhabi.
Yes, and Via will be helping with interpreting from Bahasa to English today. So thank you, Via.
No worries.
Rani, what is the current understanding of autism in Indonesia?
Kalau untuk kondisi autisme di Indonesia.
Well, the acceptance in Indonesia, especially in Jakarta, has grown so much that people are more aware with autism. There's a lot of growing communities between parents and the educators that are concerned about autism in Indonesia itself. So many information that parents or educators can access about autism. So that is also a good point that is growing and happening in Indonesia. However, because Indonesia is such a large country and it's still developing a lot, outside Jakarta, even like outside Java, it's still very hard and it's quite inaccessible for the parents to get the treatment and information about autism. So that's why a lot of people with autism are struggling to improve their quality of life.
What services are available for families from the point of diagnosis?
Sebenarnya banyak ya tempat terapi.
Well, there are a lot of types therapy that is accessible and available for the family, such as sensory integration, and then occupational therapy, also speech language therapy. However, one of the concerns to access these therapies is it requires a lot of financial. So a lot of families are struggling to get these services for their children because of the amount of money that they needed.
Is the government providing any support?
The government do not provide funding for the families to access these therapies, but recently they've been building a center that integrates with medical center in small towns. However, because the amount of kids that need the treatment is not balanced with the facilities that they provided. So that's why so many kids are abandoned or they are forgotten and they cannot access this treatment until they grown up.
Is there any stigma of autism in Indonesia?
There are a lot of stigma that sticks with the kids with autism, such as it's a sickness that needs to be treated, so it can be cured. Also, that it's an unwanted children. That's what the stigma within the kids with autism among the families and societies. Recently, I've discovered two of my friends, and they have young kids of their own, and they just discovered that their kids might have diagnosed with autism, and they're very anxious of how are they going to grow up, how will they get treatment.
Are there any services available in schools?
There's no specific treatment for the kids with autism at school. However, recently there are a lot of schools that provides inclusion. So they integrate the typical developing kids with autism to study together. However, it's not really productive. That's what I mean with a public school that government provides. That's like a public inclusion school. So we do have a special needs school from the government as well, but they tend to mix different types of special needs children. While we might know that kids with autism need specific treatment for them to be able to understand or like work together in a group classroom. So that's why some of the parents say that it might not work for their kids that have autism.
What's available for adults with autism?
In Indonesia, it depends on the family support. So if the family has a good financial management and then they have good resources for their own kids, usually they will train them to do a vocational training or, you can do baking or cooking or like specific work training that they can do for them. But most of the parents in Indonesia cannot really do anything for adults with autism, so they usually ended up doing nothing. They don't have any jobs and they will just stay at home or they might stay in the facility.
Okay. Rani, how did you get started working with the autistic population?
I got into this field when I started working in 2011. At that time, I was volunteering in a non-profit organization in Jakarta for children with special needs. Well, from that experience, I've learned how to teach and how to engage with the kids with special needs and with their challenging behavior. That's my first experience on how I get on with these kids with autism and how I fall in love, basically, with kids with autism.
What exactly do you love about kids with autism?
I got really interested with kids with autism because they have their own world and how they perceive the world and how they like think about the world. It's very unique to me. And I also got to know that not many of us are able to communicate what do we want. They are very simple, they don't want anything fancy. It's just like very straightforward what they want.
And how did you start Rumah Tiara?
I started Rumah Tiara with two of my friends, Angga and Khatik. Because we see that so many kids with autism don't get proper treatment. The first few clients that we got were actually kids that were denied to go to the school because their behaviors. Or some of them, they've been receiving treatment for years, around 4 or more, but still they don't see any progress for their own kids. Especially with the family that has financial problems or they come from lower economical families, they often really hard to get the treatment accessible for them because they cannot pay the amount of treatment that is very expensive usually, especially in Jakarta. That's how and why we want to build Rumah Tiara, because we want them to get the same treatment with the other kids with autism.
What does Rumah Tiara mean?
Direct translation means a house. So a house is a place for a family to live.
Dan tiara itu adalah tiara, like crown. Tiara.
And the direct translation for tiara is crown.
Yeah, itu dulu. Jadi Rumah Tiara itu.
So in Rumah Tiara, we want the kids with autism and as well the parents that they feel welcome, like the king and the queen, that we respect them and they're very welcome and accepted by us.
When did you start Rumah Tiara?
Kami membangun Rumah Tiara 2017.
Previously, our center was High Five and it started on 2015. And then we changed into Rumah Tiara since 2017.
And Rani, did you face any challenges along the way?
Ya, banyak. Banyak sekali kesulitan.
Yes, I faced so many challenges. The first one is I do like working with kids and I enjoy it. However, I wasn't really ready to involve in a business manner, doing the management and all of this business stuff. The challenges were I've had to manage the management, financial, and then the human resources as well as the marketing in Rumah Tiara since we started. So we know that we can keep learning and learning. We will learn from this organization of ours and become better eventually.
Could you tell us any success stories related to students?
Mungkin satu cerita yang
Well, there are a lot of success stories that we've had, but now I will share you one.
Jadi ada satu anak yang
we have this one student. He's been going to the special needs school provided by the government for a few years. And if you hear his story, it will break any of the teachers' heart because what they've been doing to him is that they tied him up on a chair because he's been escaping from the classroom each time. They have to go to the classroom. So in order to make him do all the work and attend to the school, they will tie him up on a chair in the classroom.
Wow.
Dan dia datang
When
ke
he
tempat
came
kami,
to us, he was
sudah
already
besar,
12 years old,
sekitar
such a big
umur
boy with a
12
big
tahun,
posture,
badan bongsor,
and then
laki-laki,
he
dan kasar.
barely
Gak
stands
bisa diem.
straight, and he has a
Itu
very
dulu kali.
aggressive behavior.
Anak itu ketakutan sekali untuk masuk ke dalam sebuah
Because
kelas.
he was so terrified
Apalagi
with the
duduk di
classroom, so
bangku
we
itu.
were shaping his
Nggak mungkin
behavior
lah, gitu kan. Ya, jadi
using an
akhirnya
antecedent
kita
intervention
perlahan-lahan kita ajari
that
dia dan
we
kita bikin
were
nyaman di
building up
center.
his behavior that wanted to stay in our center. So
Kayak
instead of
pertama ngebikin
staying
dia
for
nyaman
the
dulu
full
di
2
center
hours
kan.
with other students,
Jadi dia pulang itu yang
he
lainnya
can go
pulang 2
home
jam,
like
dia
in
tuh pulang
30
cuman
minutes
sampai
in the
kayak
first few
30 menit dia udah boleh pulang.
days and
Sebelum
weeks
dia nangis.
until he got
Jadi
used
kita
to
pengen
and he's
bikin
comfortable
center
with
jadi tempat yang
the
bahagia
classroom
buat dia.
settings with other students.
Dan itu berlangsung cukup lama sampai akhirnya dia tiba-tiba sadar
In the first
diri
few weeks,
dengan nyamannya
he was
masuk dalam
just
kelas
around
dan
the
duduk
center,
langsung di, walaupun
like
duduknya di meja
in
gitu ya, tapi kita udah
our
kayak
front
amazed
yard,
banget sama itu.
and he was like,
Iya,
he can
iya,
only,
dia akhirnya
he can
sendiri.
engage
Jadi
with
tadi kan
us,
30
even
menit
like
ya.
he
Kan
can
kita
go
bangun
to our
terus-terusan,
office,
akhirnya
engage
dia
with the
jam, walaupun
teachers,
itu ada di luar gitu kan, dia di luar
as
kelas.
long as we are
Jadi kayak
trying to get
dia gabung
him
sama
comfortable
orang tua, gitu
around
kan.
us.
Terus sama
It took
gabung
us
sama
few
kita
weeks
di kantor
until one day
kadang-kadang gitu kan.
he
Pokoknya dia nggak
was
masuk ke dalam kelas dia deh. Atau di
following one of
parkiran gitu
his
kan, belajar di
peers
sana. Tapi
going inside to the
satu
classroom
kali
by
tuh
himself,
dia yang 1 jam
and
dia
he was there
udah
laughing with the other student,
ada
and
di
it
center kita,
made us
tiba-tiba
so
entah dari
shocked,
mana gitu kan,
and
dia
we were so
ngikutin
happy at the time for
temannya
him
untuk masuk ke dalam
because
kelas, dan akhirnya dia
it
masuk
took
ke
a
dalam
long
kelas
time
terus
for us
ketawa
until
gitu
he
kan.
got
Walaupun
to
duduknya
where
di
he
situ
is
gitu.
now.
Panjang. Kalau sekarang dia udah bisa 15
Now he
sampai
can
20
stay
menit.
15
Kalau
to
sekarang ya,
20
sebelum
minutes
COVID.
in the classroom, and that's for us is such a huge improvement for him.
Yeah, and thinking about what doors that will open for him. If then he's able to stay in the classroom for 30 minutes, for an hour, all of the teaching opportunities that can occur while he's there. Also learning from his peers.
Ya, benar sekali. Kita juga yakin dan
Yes,
kita
we
kayak
also hope that
masih
he's
ada harapan
able
untuk dia
to
bisa
stay longer
belajar
in the
lebih baik.
classroom and that he will eventually learn a lot.
Hey, Rachel here. We'd like to give a shout out to our SkillCorps 2024 title sponsor, Action Behavior Centers. We're excited to be partnering with businesses to create opportunities for employee development and growth through our SkillCorps program. SkillCorps business partners endorse employee participation in our SkillCorps program and provide support to selected sponsored employees through granting time off, providing funds to support team member fundraising, and much more. Thank you, Action Behavior Centers, for being a model organization in the industry. And now, back to the conversation. How many students do you have at Rumah Tiara now?
Sekarang kita punya
Now we
17
have 17 active students in Rumah Tiara.
Do you offer other types of services other than applied behavior analysis?
Iya, seperti
Yes, we
remedial-
do offer other services
remedial
such
belajar.
as remedial services
pendamping
and a
kelas.
shadow teacher.
Mm-hmm. And how do you encourage your staff to follow the mission of Rumah Tiara?
Oke, jadi pertama kali pasti dari sistem
First,
rekrutmennya,
when we are
kita
looking
akan memilih
for
orang-orang yang memang sudah
our
menyukai
educators, when we're hiring,
anak-anak, dan
we want
perlahan-lahan
the people who already
kita
love
beritahukan
with the
bagaimana
kids
kondisi
and then know
anak-anak
why is it
yang
important
kita
for the
tangani,
kids with autism to get
dan
this
apa
treatment
masa depan
and
akan mereka
what the
dapatkan
future will
ketika
be
mereka
for them
mendapatkan
after
penanganan
they
yang
get a proper treatment. And
Dan
we want the
dari-
educators of
dari
Rumah
itu semua,
Tiara can feel that they become part
edukator
of
di
the
Rumah
kids with
Tiara
autism's
seperti
life.
merasakan
So
menjadi
they're
bagian
not just
dari
like simply a
kehidupan si anak itu.
therapist, but they are becoming a part of their life, like an important part of their learning.
Mm-hmm. What outreach initiatives have you done to engage your community?
Kayak kita memberitahukan
We outreach to the
anak-anak
community
tersebut seperti apa,
around Rumah Tiara and raise their awareness
di lingkungan
about
kami
what is
sendiri,
it that
anak-anak
kids with
autism
autism and
spektrum
special needs And we also try to share it in our social media through Instagram and sharing the information about autism and what is it actually and how to get the proper treatment for the kids with autism. Sometimes we also go to a local community kindergarten to spend time with the teacher and tell them, oh, these are the symptoms for the kids with autism. And then again, raising awareness of what is autism. And also, there is one day on every week, every Sunday, that we go and people walk around the town. It's a car-free day on Sunday, and we go there with our educators. Again, we are raising awareness on Sunday morning to the people in our community.
How do you engage with the community? Are you going up to people and just talking to them? Are you giving them handouts?
We do approach them and then giving out handouts and brochure about just a simple explanation about what autism is, and then having a conversation face-to-face with the parents so that they know about our center as well as autism.
Yeah, so you're literally on the ground doing the footwork. I think it's so important also to go to the schools, like you said you did, because it's essential to educate the teachers about autism so that they don't tie up students to chairs if they're trying to escape.
Yeah.
So, Rani, changing topic, almost all of our partners had to shut down temporarily at some point during the last few months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. How has the crisis affected your center?
Yes, since the COVID-19 started, we faced the challenge as well that we had to shut down our center. And now we've changed our services into teleservices, which make the parents to be the educator for their own kids. We do maintain our communication with parents and then 2 times supervision each week with the parents. Obviously, it reflects on our financial because so many parents have lost their jobs and are struggling to earn for the income, and that also affect our financial. So we predict that they might not be able to pay for the services in the upcoming weeks.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a plan for that?
Yeah, pasti. Tapi kita menghadapi ini bersama-sama.
We understand that we are facing this pandemic together and that financial problems is rising in our center.
Kita bersyukur karena edukator kami.
We are really grateful for the educators that we have because they have understanding that yes, this might affecting for their salary as well. But like we know that we are in this together, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, and it's also showing your leadership, Rani, because you've been able to keep everyone together and keep their spirits high and stay positive throughout all of this.
Yeah. Well, no,
Well, I feel that I am the one who is the luckiest to have them as my educators.
Mm. Rani, tell us about your partnership with the Global Autism Project.
Yeah.
I know Global Autism Project since 2013 and I've been receiving their training every year since they come to our country. And when we built High Five in 2015, we were so happy that Global Autism Project still support us at the time and until now.
Terutama saat kita mengganti nama menjadi Rumah Tiara di tahun 2017.
And in 2017, when we changed our name from High Five to Rumah Tiara, again, as an organization, we faced so many problems, and Global Autism Project was there supporting us, giving us consultation. Global Autism Project gives us strength and power that we're going to face this together, and they will always be there for us to support us to keep going and provide the right treatment for the kids.
Do you have any special memories from SkillCorps?
Setiap SkillCorps pasti membawa kenangan-kenangan tersendiri.
Well, every SkillCorps has their own stories each time they visit Indonesia.
Dan memori yang paling aku ingat itu adalah ketika
one of the memorable SkillCorps visit was when we recently changed our name into Rumah Tiara in 2017. It was very memorable to me.
Karena di waktu itu
in that visit, Casey said to me, and from that moment, it stays in my mind that she said Global Autism Project don't work with individuals, but they work and support organizations and support them to be able to provide the right treatment for kids with autism. And Global Autism Project will always support the organization.
Itu kayak ngebikin kayak oke, baiklah kita akan terus melanjutin ini.
And since that, I feel like Rumah Tiara is acknowledged, and that's what makes us keep going.
What part of Indonesian culture do you like to share with the SkillCorps teams when they visit?
Pertama yang pasti makanan.
Yes, I do want to share a lot of Indonesian culture with the SkillCorps team, but mostly it's food because Indonesian foods are delicious and they're very tasty.
Yes, and karaoke, right? I've heard a lot of stories of teams coming back saying they've had so much fun with your staff at karaoke.
Well, it's because we do know how to have fun together nicely and in a very fun way.
Yeah, I'm actually lucky enough to have shared a karaoke night with you, Rani, and Hotik and Janita. We attended Global Summit together last August in Bali, which was not so far for you being in Jakarta. What was it like for you to spend that week with all of the partners?
Spektakuler. Rasanya amazed banget.
It was very spectacular because in the summit, I had the chance to meet with other business owners partnering with Global Autism Project. And I've come to realize that like I'm not alone, like there are people who's facing the same thing as me. Because normally in Indonesia, the business owners, they don't share their own things. So it's exclusive to their own organization. So I don't know what to do. So it was such a great pleasure for me to be able to meet them. And then we discussed so many things and the challenges as a business owners.
Rani, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I'd like to close with one last question. Do you have any advice for parents of children with autism or other business owners?
Untuk orang tua, pesan saya adalah jangan takut ketika
Well, for the parents, I advise that if you have kids with autism or special needs, don't be ashamed, don't lose your hope because yes, it's tough, but there are many ways for your children to be able to learn, and just don't lose your hope because we will be here supporting you.
Dan untuk pemilik bisnis,
for the business owners, I think it would be great for us to collaborate and to be able to discuss our challenges, because we know that the ratio of the kids with special needs is more than the services that are available. So it would be great if we could work together to provide the right treatment for these kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you both so much for your time. And Via, I just want to really thank you for all of the effort that you put into interpreting from Bahasa to English to Bahasa. I know it's really tiring, but you did a great job. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Rachel, and to talk to Rani as well.
Mm-hmm. And Rani, I'll be seeing you during our monthly partner call.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel.
All right. Take care. Do you have a personal or professional connection to autism? Are you ready to make a difference in 2024? We're currently taking SkillCorps applications for travel in October. Travel the world and contribute to high-impact projects with a global team of autism professionals and advocates. Visit our international partner sites and collaborate with local stakeholders on outreach initiatives in their communities. Join us today at skillcorps.globalautismproject.org and use the coupon code AutismPodcast to waive the application fee. Thanks for listening. Take care.